little Dolly. Her parents strode off arm in arm, and the day was theirs. Soon the sound of loud music filled Archie's ears, and the whirl of bumper cars rang out. Dolly strode confidently around until she came to the rifle range. Archie watched transfixed as she picked up the rifle and began to shoot. Archie jumped with shock, but he soon relaxed as he realized that it was just for fun. Dolly was a good shot, and one by one the ducks fell over, and she was rewarded with a big teddy bear. Then she went off to buy candy floss, and she began to eat it slowly. Then she offered a piece to Archie, but she wasn't sure if he'd like it. Archie had never seen anything like it before, and it looked like a pink string, but he did his best to eat it. It was strange but delicious, he thought. All around Archie there were different sounds and smells, and it was intoxicating to him. Then a lovely smell hit his nose, and his tummy began to rumble. It was the smell of hot dogs and fried onions, and it drifted over the fare like a bewitching spell. It was impossible to resist. Dudley looked down at Archie's sad face and pleading eyes, and she could tell what he was thinking. She brought him 2 hot dogs with onions, and she smothered them with ketchup, and Archie was getting desperate, and the smell was driving him mad. Dolly handed one to him, and he devoured it quickly. It was delicious. He'd never been treated so well, and his tail wagged happily. Dolly stroked him, and then she led him by the collar to the waltzers, and he could see the people spinning round quickly, and it made him feel a little queasy but curious. After a discussion with the members of staff, Dolly sat on the seat with Archie, and he wished that she'd asked permission, but he was ready for anything. After they were both strapped in, the chair began to rotate, and Dolly laughed and she whispered in Archie's ear. "Don't worry, I've got you," she said, and for once he felt safe. Faster and faster they went, and the people and the lights became one big blur. But Archie didn't feel afraid. Dolly held him and stroked him and laughed along. Archie looked at Dolly, and her long blonde hair was stood on end, but she was still smiling. Archie's ears felt they were going to pop, and when the ride slowly came to an end, everything came back into focus like waking out of a dream. Archie barked happily to show his appreciation and relief, and then they set off to the next show. "Don't tell my parents," she whispered into his ear with a giggle. All around Archie, people were laughing and smiling and eating pink candy floss. He'd never seen such happiness. It made him glow inside. The next thing they came to was a gigantic tent, and they went inside and sat down. Archie was amazed to see all of the people inside, and then he was startled by the sounds of loud drumming. And then a funny looking man came in wearing multicolored clothes and big floppy shoes with a big bright red nose. The children laughed at all of the silly things that he did, and Archie looked at him curiously. He was unlike anyone he'd ever seen before. He was throwing brightly colored rings high into the air. When he caught them, a gasp came from the audience. And then he juggled fire, and Archie was sure that something bad was going to happen. But his tail was still wagging madly.